This is where we do what we call a community moment, where someone from our community gets up and shares with us for a day, something might be a story from their life, might be something about a book they've read. We've had all kinds of interesting community moments. If you'd like to do one, get with me and we'll put you on the schedule. Today's presenter is a first-time community moment presenter who recently also took over the leadership of our marketing team, which does all kinds of stuff from website to logo work and looking at new t-shirts, so she's taking on a big responsibility. And let's give a warm welcome to our friend Michele Krieg.
Good morning. Okay. My name is Michele Krieg, but a lot of you know me on Facebook as Michelle Robinson. I assure you that it was a personal preference to do that. I am not wanted in several countries, nor am I on a witness protection program. This moment is going to be called How I Met Oasis. Not to be confused with the show How I Met Your Mother. I met Dr. Christopher Velasquez about 5 years ago. We met online via a social media program as friends of friends, never really engaging in conversation other than a hi or how are you today. Little did I know that was just the beginning of an important journey. You see, I went back to college in 2009 after being laid off during the near end of the recession. I took the opportunity to learn more about a quiet passion of mine, computers and computer programming. I got my first taste of programming during my 8th grade year. You remember that black and white monitor with the cute little Apple label on it? I thought it was an adorable machine. And I was one of the quickest in my class to comprehend what it could do. But back then, in my area, computers were for boys. I was discouraged from continuing to learn about what they did and why. So me being me, I found other avenues to take. My curiosity for life burned bright in every direction. During my first semester at Kaplan, I had to take a course on programming. I knew it was going to be challenging, but I was up for it. As an adult, I also knew when to ask for help, and that was important to me. Halfway into my first assignment, I became stuck and agitated. I took a break. I went to my favorite social media program of mine, and I happened to see Dr. Velasquez online. I said, okay, I'm going to take a chance and send him a message. I considered it an SOS, because I knew I'd feel awkward talking to a strange man I barely knew. I'm 39, on the line. Okay. So he graciously accepted my plea for help, and we began working together. I learned more than I thought I ever would from him, even more than some of my professors at my online college. I passed the class with an above average grade, and I bloomed into the full computer geek I knew I always was. I truly enjoyed reading and writing code, and eventually I began building websites. At this time, Chris and I continued to stay online, in contact online. Casually checking in with each other, we started discussing life and family and politics, and then came religion. I wasn't shocked when I read his words that he wrote when he said he didn't believe in God. Though I was Christian, I was raised to respect everyone and their beliefs. I never formally went to church, only when my family would visit my grandma in Pittsburgh. Yeah, you know how that is. I blended my vision of God into him being an invisible scientist with a clipboard and a lab coat, observing and recording how we dealt with this life he gave us, maybe looking for improvements. I was always a big fan of science and nature, so it kind of blended together for me. It worked out well. Much better than my grandma's church, where people were shouting and crying and waving their hands in the air and yelling the Lord's name. It scared me a little. I really couldn't understand why they were so affected. I couldn't wait to get out of the stuffy, hot room and back out into the warm sunshine and fresh air. As Chris and I continued to date into 2012, he would fly me to Texas every couple of months so we could spend quality time together. I'm from Kentucky originally. So he would bring me to Oasis meetings every time I would come to visit, and I looked forward to them. Saturday night comes around, I'm like, are we going to Oasis? Can we go? Can we go? I was bouncing like crazy. Being with Chris took me back to being a teenager again, and wide-eyed and curious about my world. He fed my curiosity of things with information about what he knew about the world. A lot of it was more facts and information about atheism. We watched videos and speeches about the subject and deeply discussed our views on it. As the year went on, I wanted to learn more. My epiphany hit me one day. As I was driving around Cincinnati with my teenage daughter, it was a lovely afternoon. We had the sunroof open, music blaring, windows down. We were laughing and talking up a storm. And as you all know, with teenagers, they don't talk, they don't smile. So when it happens, you gotta grab that opportunity. We were discussing her views on her own revelation about her lifestyle change. I knew for a long time what she was, and she became to realize it herself, and I just let her find her way and talk to me when she was ready. She's also a fantastic observer of human experience and interaction. I trained her well. So we were driving along and I abruptly stopped the conversation. I grabbed the wheel tight. My eyes flew wide open as the realization hit me. I speed dialed Chris. He answered. I didn't say hello. I didn't say, how are you? I said, there is no God. And he was silent. And I said it again with more conviction. I said, there is no God. I couldn't believe how my world just blew open with all the possibilities of what I could be without restriction. We laughed uncontrollably after a bit, and I was like, I could have had a V8. It was right there in front of me. My epiphany dropped the veil that was over my eyes, and that day brought us closer than I could ever imagine. Chris didn't care that I was Christian when he was dating me. He loved my smile. He loved my attitude towards life in general. He wasn't looking to change my mind or unbrainwash me. He simply showed me a different way of looking at things, and it was based on fact and truth, not stories and hearsay. He was the first person I shared that pivotal moment with, and when I finally woke from the dream, my old community planted in my head since day one, and I finally accepted those words with all my being. There was no God. I flashed back to my youth, remembering when my parents would send me to a Catholic church across the street from my elementary school for Bible study. I was maybe 10 or 11. They thought it was a good idea. Interaction with other kids, learning. They were very open towards everything. They didn't restrict me in any way. All I knew was I got to skip 8th period class and ate cookies. Part of the adventure as well was the traffic crosswalk to the other side. I made a mad dash, ignoring the crossing guard saying I really should walk. Oh, no, I was on a mission. They had cookies and milk. I could really care less about Noah and his boat or the guy whose wife turned to salt, though I did have empathy for the animals cramped on that little shed. It must have smelled really bad. But I never took the stories seriously. I never believed them to be true. It was all too outrageous. That memory cemented my conviction. So on that bright, gorgeous day that God did not create, I was driving around with my lovely daughter, whom God did not create. I took a deep breath and let it all go. I said to myself, I am in charge of my own life. No one can save me but me. I never needed a God to be good. I just need to be true to myself and respect the people I love. So my journey of self-discovery continues.